Hi, this is Alex from Android Central, and today we're taking a look at the Samsung Galaxy camera. This is Samsung's new Android-powered point-and-shoot camera with a 16-megapixel sensor and a 23mm lens with 21x optical zoom. It's got a very sleek-looking design with this 4.8-inch super clear LCD touchscreen dominating the back of the camera. So let's take a look at the outer hardware in a bit more detail. You got the lens around the front obviously, along with your autofocus light. Up top are the power and shutter buttons along with zoom controls, a built-in mic and pop-up xenon flash. All the main connectors are along the right edge, headphone and microphone jack, micro USB port, which is also used for charging, and a wrist strap latch. On the other side you've got the button for the pop-up flash. And finally down below there's a tripod connector and this other little door behind which you've got your removable battery, micro HDMI, micro SD and micro SIM slots. So the Galaxy camera supports HSPA plus data speeds up to 21 megabits down and 5 megabits up, and in the US there's also a Verizon version which supports LTE. We've got the white Galaxy camera here. It does come in other colours though, black, red and orange, but right now it's only the black and white versions that are available. Let's power on the device and take a look at the smart side of this smart camera. On the inside it's basically a Galaxy S3, it's running a quad-core Exynos CPU with 1GB of RAM, and the super clear LCD around the back runs at 720p resolution. On the software side it's got Android 4.1 Jelly Bean and Samsung's TouchWiz UI, and this has been revamped a little bit to make use of this kind of hardware. So we've got on-screen buttons, back, menu and home. The launcher's been tweaked a little bit to work in portrait or landscape orientation, although naturally you're going to be using it most in landscape. Besides this, it's more or less TouchWiz as you might use it on a Galaxy S3, the same basic design, notification bar up top with your launcher and app drawer, and the usual assortment of settings. And as it's running Jelly Bean, you get features like Google Now, expandable notifications, and smooth performance thanks to Project Butter. So chances are you'll be spending most of your time in the camera app, and there are a few new ways to get there. Power on the device for the first time, it'll send you straight there. There's also a permanent shortcut in the launcher, or you can long press the shutter button at any time to jump right in. The app is arranged differently to most smartphone camera apps, but the controls are all still touch-based, and you even have the option to take shots using on-screen keys rather than the physical shutter button. The app itself is arranged into 3 main modes. There's auto mode, which automatically adjusts all the settings for you, so all you have to do is worry about pressing the shutter button. Next up is smart mode, which gives you a few different presets that you can use for different kinds of shots. This is pretty good if you want to worry about exactly what you're taking a picture of rather than how you can manually adjust individual settings. Finally there's expert mode, which gives you complete control over everything, and there are a few different expert modes to choose from: program mode, aperture priority, shutter priority and so on. ISO, shutter speed and aperture and exposure can all be controlled with these 4 sliders. You've also got the settings menu up top for controlling things like white balance, focus mode and resolution, although unfortunately not all of these are available outside of expert mode. For example, you can't manually correct white balance in auto or smart modes. On the whole though, it's a very full-featured and well-designed camera app. Our only real gripe has to do with the occasional lag that can crop up from time to time, and that's especially noticeable when you use these wheel controls in expert mode. Overall image quality on the Galaxy camera is decent enough, certainly far beyond what you'll find on any smartphone. You get point-and-shoot quality pictures, and most of the time auto and smart modes will do a decent job of working out what you're trying to do and turning it into a good-looking shot. There are areas where this falls down though, especially when lighting isn't ideal. Still shots tend to lose fine detail pretty rapidly, especially on auto setting, where the ISO tends to ramp up pretty aggressively. Strengths include macro shots, and we've been able to get some pretty impressive looking close-ups on the Galaxy camera. It's also possible to get some great looking shots using expert mode if you know what you're doing. The Galaxy camera does a great job with zoom shots using its 21x optical zoom, and the optical image stabilization helps out a lot here too, allowing close-ups of faraway objects to be taken without motion blur. The camera also supports HD video recording at 720p and 1080p with 30 frames per second, and there's a lower resolution slow motion mode at 120 frames per second. This is largely a bit of a gimmick. Across the board, the Galaxy camera's performance is more consistent in video than it is in photo. This is another area where the optical image stabilization pays dividends, so does the optical zoom. Even at 1080, video footage is crisp and clear, and you don't lose much detail in low light. That said, the Galaxy camera is still expensive considering the quality of images it produces, and if you're looking for a DSLR or Micro Four Thirds replacement here, you're going to come away disappointed. But many of the benefits of having an Android-powered camera come on what you can do after you've taken the shots. Samsung's Photo Wizard and Video Editor apps are included as standard, and both work really well for on-device editing. You've also got Dropbox and Instagram built in, and Dropbox in particular with its auto upload feature is really useful in getting photos transferred to other devices. And being a full-blown Android device, you're also open to even more app possibilities through Google Play. So that's a quick look at the Samsung Galaxy camera. It's an interesting new class of device, and we think we'll be seeing more cameras of this type in 2013. Right now it's pretty expensive, $500 in the US or £350 in the UK, so you could definitely get better photos from a dedicated camera at this kind of money. But what you're also getting is really powerful mobile tech to back up the camera, including 3G connectivity options that you won't find on many others. For more on the Galaxy camera, including sample shots and video, be sure to check out our full review at androidcentral.com.